So you've got the drywall up and you've never tape embedded. So what do you actually do now that you have the drywall up and you're ready to tape embed? Or are you ready? What I like to do is I will take my taping knife like this, and where my screws are at, I will slide it over. And I will listen for what I call a ringer. So there's a ringer there. I think there's one here. There's one there. So what do I do to fix that? I can use my screw gun, but it tends to over push the screw into the paper and break the paper. So I use an actual screwdriver and I'll work it in there. And then I will just take and run my knife back over. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look for places where I've had to remove screws, and I push that in. Not worrying about making a big hole, because I'm going to put mud over it. What that does is it pushes the paper in, so when you put on your finish, it looks great. All right, so the next thing I need to do before I can start doing the tape embedding is I need to address my joints. The butt joints are usually the ones that I have to trim back a little bit because they're not indented like your long joints are to be able to accept the actual tape and the mud. So what I like to do is I go through and I will clean these up. I will go with a really sharp knife, make sure there's no extra paper like this here, and work my way all the way down. Now, if you have big gaps, like this is more than 1/8 of an inch, I like to use hot mud. Like this is easy sand 90. It means I have 90 minutes to get this mud on there before it sets up. And then I can come back and tape embed. Now, if this is a repair and you are using your mesh tape, you can go ahead and do all that at the same time without any problem. Now, this particular wall has one other problem. Normally, I do not have to cut anything on these seams. They butt together perfect. And like I said, they have that indent. This ceiling on this side was just a little bit taller than this side. This one was just a little short. To get everything plumb and square so that I can continue on down the wall there, I had to actually trim this just a little up to this point, which means I have some little paper pieces sticking out. So I'm going to have to do the same thing here. Use my knife and kind of cut this back just like this all the way down, getting rid of this little paper. The nice thing about doing that and getting all that little paper out is it makes sure you do not have any blisters or problems. Blisters are generally going to be caused by not getting the correct mud and everything behind the paper and having loose paper and things behind it so that it's not bonding correctly. All right, so I hope this helps, guys. We'll see you on the next one.